welcome to another episode of the Hormone Balance Solution podcast. So this is just going to be a quick episode. I was really inspired to record this episode today. A few things had happened. I'd heard from a few ladies, and it made me really determined to get this message out there. And what this message is that in midlife, we have to be careful about chasing skinny fat. Okay, so I know nobody really chases skinny fat. Nobody wants to be skinny fat. And it's not a lovely term that we aspire to, but women do it, whether they know they're doing it or not. Women do it, and they do it all the time. I see this in so many ladies. These ladies are trying so hard to get back to a weight they used to be, right? Perhaps in their 20s or their 30s. And so they're looking at this number on the scale, and they are fixated on that number on the scale. And listen, this drives me mental. And the reason it drives me mental is because they're not aware, and it's not their fault, but that's why I'm here to try to promote this message. They're not aware that this can be very, very dangerous. Okay, so we have to get away from fixating on losing weight as the main focus in midlife. Yes, we have to maintain a healthy weight. That's really, really important. It's important for our metabolic health. It's important to reduce our risk of disease. It's important to be a healthy weight in order to feel good, to feel confident. That's absolutely important. But fixating on this number on the scale in midlife is a very, very dangerous, very, very bad idea. And I'm going to explain why. And don't get me wrong, I understand it can be upsetting in midlife when things start to shift and change, and they do. And we can start to put on some weight, and it can be confronting. So I'm not denying that. And I'm not denying that we do have to do things a little bit differently. But those things are not to fast to the extreme. Use fasting as an excuse to not eat, right? Lower our calories dramatically, because I'm telling you, that is going to backfire. If you, and I've seen this in ladies so many times, they have achieved that number on the scale. And oftentimes they do it in very unhealthy ways. Like I said, excessive fasting or calorie restriction, or they're going to other extremes like keto, which is not a good idea long term, or they're doing the HCG diet, things like this. But ultimately, they never stay that way. And then they get upset if they put on a few pounds, and they're then yo-yoing, right? And maybe they do keep the bulk of the weight off long term, which is great if they had a lot to lose. But ultimately, they yo-yo back and forth from that ideal weight that they were in their 30s that they think is the crown and glory that they must achieve. And then they're fluctuating up. So they do something restrictive and they come back down. And then ultimately they try to live again, enjoying life, and it goes back up a little, and then that is so unhealthy. So I really want to impress upon you that if this is you and if this resonates, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. And I'm here to tell you what to do instead. Okay, so the answer is not to try to get back to the weight you were always. The answer is to become a weight that is healthy and that you feel good at, and do it in a healthful way. So what is that healthful way? That healthful way is looking after metabolic health. In midlife, it becomes about not being the skinniest you can be. That's dangerous, and that's not a good goal to have. It's about optimizing your metabolic health. If you have good metabolic health, you will be a healthy weight without even trying, truly. And the reason, not only do we want optimal metabolic health because it keeps us looking and feeling good weight-wise and in our bodies, but we also need to be mindful of metabolic health because it is your insurance against disease states like osteoporosis, cancer, dementia, you name it, type 2 diabetes. Almost any chronic disease has roots in poor metabolic health. So supporting metabolic health needs to be the focus in midlife, not the number on the scale. And when you support that metabolic health, you will be able to maintain a healthy weight that you're comfortable at without really trying so much. And when we intermittent fast to a crazy degree, or we calorie control and we restrict our calories and we lose weight, you're also losing muscle. And this is what I want to impress upon you. Women fixated on losing weight who are not strength training and who are not fixated on building muscle have, once they lose that weight, they have messed with their metabolic health because they have lost muscle. A lot of that weight you're losing, it isn't just fat, it's muscle too. If you are not eating correctly to sustain muscle and doing strength training to sustain muscle, you're looking to bring that number on the scale down. And as that comes down, your metabolic health also comes down and reduces. And then your risk of disease states as you age increases. So chasing that number on the scale is increasing if you're not doing it, if you're not doing the weight the weight-bearing exercise. If you're not doing things to support your metabolic health, you're increasing as the number comes down your chances of these really nasty chronic diseases. So how do we support metabolic health in midlife in order to maintain our weight and feel good in our body? The most important thing is weight training. The most important thing. So I cannot overstate that. In order to support metabolic health in your 40s and beyond, you must start to do strength training. You can give up the cardio for all I care. I do think it's important to walk. I think getting outside is great on a regular basis, if not daily. Walking is fantastic. And it should be, this is my motto in midlife, is walking and weights. So walking is really important. You can get your heart rate up, go up a few hills. But you can say goodbye to the spin classes and the running and all that crazy intense cardio that you loved in your 20s and 30s and that a lot of midlife women think they need to do. But you don't. It's dangerous to do that kind of cardio excessively in midlife. It will jack up your cortisol, and oftentimes our cortisol rises in midlife. It can contribute to inflammation in the body, contribute to excess stress. It's a real stressor in the body when you're going crazy, doing, long distance running or spin classes or whatever the case may be. And this cortisol also has a very damaging effect on your gut health, which is a whole nother story because our gut changes in midlife too. And our gut is really the root also. You support the gut, support metabolic health, and you've done great things for your health long term. So you can let go of the cardio. Walk and then strength train. Switch out that cardio for that strength training. If you are not doing strength training at least 3 times a week, you are not doing what you need to be doing to support your waistline and your widths, because that muscle helps to prevent things like dementia. You're not doing everything you can. If somebody came to me and was complaining about their weight in midlife, and I said to them, well, are you strength training? They say no. I said, well, you can't complain. You can't complain. Whether you like it or not, too bad, so sad. It is what it is. You need to start lifting weights. And listen, you don't need to hire a personal trainer. Ultimately, it is a good idea you've got to get your form right or you'll hurt yourself. If you can afford to get a personal trainer, at least temporarily, that is important. Or go onto YouTube. There's tons of free videos. There's so much stuff now online that is so much cheaper than the old sort of in-person training approaches. There's things you can do. Dumbbells, you can buy dumbbells. They're very inexpensive. There's no excuse. But I just want to caution you, if you fixate on that number on the scale, for all I care, throw away the damn scale. Throw it away. Because when you're supporting your metabolic health, you're working to build your muscle, right? Muscle is the insurance against the chronic disease states. Well, guess what? As you work to build muscle and you actually get the nice defined arms and defined button legs, like that looks good. Your body composition changes for the better. You don't have the flat bum. You're not looking skinny and frail. You're feeling strong. Your skin becomes nice and smooth because you've built that muscle. There's so many benefits aesthetically to building muscle. But guess what happens? The number on the scale might increase. So what? If you've built out a nice butt full of muscle that's a glucose sponge, it's going to take that glucose from your bloodstream so that you don't jack up that inflammation and ruin your metabolic health and get type 2 diabetes. Build that muscle, put some weight on in the form of muscle. So this is the thing I really want women to get out of that it's a paradigm shift. Must lose weight, must be a certain weight. But really, we should be building muscle, which is sometimes going to add weight to the scale, which is not scary. It's beautiful. I mean, you look at a pound of muscle compared to a pound of fat. That 1 pound of fat is so much bigger than that 1 pound of muscle. So you can imagine what happens to the body when you replace a lot of that fat with muscle. You might actually find your weight goes up, but your body composition changes for the better. So I hope that makes sense, because I'm so sick of women chasing the number on the scale. And maybe that sounds harsh. It's not their fault. They don't know, but that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm spreading this message like I am, because I'm not derogatory to the women, but I'm sick of seeing it, because I know they're damaging their health. And I know that they're in midlife, they're in perimenopause, and they've gotten to this number on the scale. They will never stay there. If they haven't gotten there via building muscle, via strength training, they will never stay there. It's not going to happen. They will yo-yo. So it's actually very exciting, because in order to maintain health and look really good and have a good weight and feel good in your body, you can eat more. You can actually eat more, and you don't have to restrict. So hopefully it gets you excited. You actually do have to eat significant amounts when you're weight training in order to fuel that exercise, but also in order to build the muscle. You cannot build muscle from nothing. So you want to be eating enough protein. And when you're strength training at least 3 times a week, you want to be thinking about 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So that might look like 130, 140 or more grams of protein per day. And you also want to be fueling your body with enough calories so you can lift the heavy weights, because the idea is to lift heavy. The idea is time under tension. You don't want to be able to do 20 reps really quickly. That's not going to build the muscle. What's going to build the muscle is going slow and doing maybe 8 reps, maybe 10 or 12 reps, but going very slow with heavy weight, because it's that time under tension that is going to build the muscle. But you need to fuel your body for that. So you need to be eating adequate calories, none of this 1,500 calorie or below stuff. So you need to be eating adequate calories. You need to be eating adequate protein in order to build muscle and prevent sarcopenia, which you will get if you're not building your muscle. You will eventually get sarcopenia. Everybody does. It's something we cannot escape as we age, unless we put the proper solutions in place, which is eating adequate protein and lifting weights. If you eat adequate protein and you lift weights, you will not suffer the consequences of old age, which includes sarcopenia, also known as anabolic resistance, which we will all go through if we do not eat enough protein or lift weights. So you need to eat enough calories to support the workouts. You then need to eat enough protein to build your muscles, so 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight when you're doing the exercise you should be doing. But you also need to eat carbohydrates. This whole low carb keto phase, I think it's done a lot of damage too. Never been a fan of keto. That's a whole nother story. But the carbohydrates are very important to build the muscle, because they actually give you the release of insulin that you need, which actually helps to anabolize your muscle. I don't think that's the correct term, but you need insulin to grow those muscles, and the insulin comes from the carbohydrates. So the great news is you don't have to suffer to look great, but you do have to put in the effort. And I think this is why women find it easier to suffer. They, for some reason, I mean, I don't like restriction. I am not into doing tons of fasting. I'm not into calorie counting, and I'm not interested in yo-yoing and going, oh, I'm not that weight anymore. Shit, I better not eat anything for a few weeks. And now I'm going to eat because I want to enjoy life and be a human. Oh my God, I went up a few pounds. Now I'm going to restrict. I'm not interested. That is exhausting to me. I would much prefer to go down to my garage 4 times a week and do 30 minutes of weight resistance training, and then get out into the sunshine and go for walks, 4 to 5 times a week. I would much prefer that. And then I enjoy what I eat. I don't think about my calories. I don't think about, oh, I shouldn't eat that. And if I want to have a little treat, I have it, because I know that I'm doing everything I need to do, that treat isn't going to make a dent in terms of my body composition or what I'm trying to achieve with how my body looks, how I feel in my clothes, and my metabolic health. I hope that inspires you. I hope it doesn't piss you off, but It is what it is. And I am not somebody to beat around the bush. I am not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Get out there and walk. Get out there and strength train. Get out there and eat a lot of good, yummy foods. Make sure you're eating enough protein. Make sure you're eating enough carbohydrates, and enjoy your life, and stop fixating on that number on the scale. And if you do all this and you see that number go up, but you can also see that you're building muscle, fantastic. That's where we want to be, right? Listen, obviously this is stuff that we help our ladies with inside the Hormone Balance Solution. There's more to metabolic health than just that, but that is huge. And we will support you. We will guide you. We can talk about your macros. We'll get your diet dialed in. We'll look at your gut health, your nutrient load, and all the things so that you can look and feel your best in midlife and well into your later years to come, because we want to keep you out of the old aged care homes. And you won't do that if you're not strength training and looking after your metabolic health, right? We want you to be independent till the day you die. We want you to be got your wits about you, got your strengths about you, not scared about falling, not being frail. And you can be frail even if you're overweight. We want that till the day you die. And we do that by focusing on that strength training, by focusing on eating enough food, by not malnourishing ourselves, by restrictive fasts and lowering calories, by working on gut health and all the things that we can help you with. So if you want our help, you can reach out. All the information is in the show notes. Come on over to Instagram. I'm at Tarathorn Health. Follow me there. DM me if you want to chat about what's going on for you and how my team and I can help you. That's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we'll speak again soon. Bye for now. I am not a medical professional, and the information provided in this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. I do not have access to your individual medical history or circumstances, so the content discussed here should not be considered as medical advice. Before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, or considering the use of supplements, please consult with a qualified healthcare professional or your doctor to ensure it's safe and appropriate for your specific situation. Any decisions you make based on the content of this podcast are at your own discretion and risk. Thank you for tuning in.